Here, back for another update. This is going to be a very quick video on XRP, and I'm going to show you exactly what XRP is doing and where exactly it is in the cycle. So what we see, so when we zoom out over here, this is XRP's full structure, okay? And basically what we see is your initial move up, okay? So this was the parabolic move since 2017 up to 2018. And then for your bear market, you have a 3-wave move down, a 3-wave move up, failing to break above the 78.6% fib, and then you have a 5-wave move to the downside, finding support at the 78.6% fib, and then having accumulation from there for over 685 days before we have a continuation to the upside, taking out this buy side liquidity right over here from your last bull market peak at $3.40. Now what we see over here, so now that our C wave is in over here, we've been accumulating for over 685 days. Now where are we in this schematic that we see over here? So what we can do is follow along with this diagram. This is Wyckoff accumulation schematic number 2. Okay, so over here was your preliminary supply. This is the last push up before you have your capitulation into your selling climax. You have your automatic rally, secondary test of the lows. You then move up to the top of the range, have your failed break, have a secondary test in phase B going below this psychological support, and because we went below this psychological support over here, you had new shorts opening up, caused a short squeeze to the top of the range. Price gets squeezed down to mid-range. Ripple wins the lawsuit against the SEC, has a court victory, and then we have what's called a sign of strength. So the news is timed perfectly. I just want to remind you guys that news was timed perfectly. You have your sign of strength phase over here. This is when everyone was, aping into XRP, taking out of their taking out of their savings account, their retirement, and just aping it all over here because they thought that, oh, okay, if Ripple won the lawsuit, then it's clear waters from there. But no, the price doesn't move really. The price really doesn't move based on news. It moves based on what the algo and what the chart is telling us. You have your sign of strength phase over here. The CEO dumps all of their shares, right? When everyone's buying into euphoria. Then we have what's called so this is your sign of strength, and then we have what's called 298 days of our backup phase. Okay, so altogether, this is over 685 days of accumulation. We are ready to start the next leg up. Let's go ahead and take a look at XRP's wave count over here. And if we go all the way back to 2014, now there's going to be different wave counts you'll see on the internet, but this is my wave count. What we have over here is your so this is the creation of your coin. Founders sell at the extension, bring it back down to form a double bottom before starting this impulsive structure to the upside. So we have our wave 1, our wave 2 going into 2017, and then 2017 going into the 2018 peak. We had our wave 3, topping out at the golden pocket, and then having a ABC correction down to the 70.2% fib for our A wave, another ABC correction up with a leading diagonal. Okay, so this was a leading diagonal. Over here was an ending diagonal. So you had your leading diagonals, your A, B, C topping out of the 2.618. So this was your B wave. Okay, so this is your B wave. Then you have a 5-wave move to the downside. Very waterfall-like, capitulation-like move for our wave 3, hence why we had a truncation of the 5th wave in which sellers became exhausted. Remember in the last chart I showed you, this 5th wave over here was our secondary test in phase B. So this leg right over here, that was your 5th wave down of your C wave. So let's go back to this chart. And yeah, so then this is your macro 4th wave now. and now we're ready to have our fifth wave, likely to $7 to $10. It would likely go to double digits, and we'll definitely be altering the targets as the price develops, but I won't be updating it on YouTube. So if you haven't joined the Discord, please click the link in the description below. This is the Discord right over here. One sec here. This is the Discord right over here. You can ask me any question you want. You get access to over 350 plus assets, and yeah, so definitely click the link if you haven't joined. So let's go back to XRP here. So here's your wave one. So now we started our wave. Now we bottomed out with Bitcoin in January. We bottomed out with the rest of the market. Don't forget that. And we've been making higher lows ever since. Okay, so our bullish structure has not changed one bit. We haven't flipped bearish. We have our 5 waves to the upside in the form of a leading diagonal or an ascending broadening wedge, with your fifth wave topping out at the 1.236, which is a common target for a fifth wave in an ascending broadening wedge. Then you have a Elliott. Then you have a WXYXZ correction. And look over here, you have a wave 5. So remember what I said in my last videos, retail traders love to use trend lines. So where do they place their stops? They place their stops right under the trend line, and as the structure forms and as the pattern forms, you have stops on both sides of this range. Okay, so this over here would be acting as our trend line liquidity. We came down, had a overthrow of the pattern towards the 70.2% fib, which, as most of you know, is just where the algo takes cryptos before we have a major reversal. And that was found by taking a fib from this low over here up to the top of the trend. Okay, very simple fib. Came down to the 702. This overthrow is when all the fear kicked in, and this is when all the market makers' orders got filled. Now what we're seeing over here on the small time frame, this is the 30-minute time frame now. This is Wyckoff accumulation, right? You have your preliminary supply, so very similar thing to what it's doing over here, but now it's just on the 30-minute time frame. Now remember, Wyckoff happens on every time frame. It even happens on the 1 minute. You have your preliminary supply, your selling climax, your automatic rally, your secondary test, fail break, secondary test in phase B, your second fail break of the range, and then you come down to midpoint, right? So look, we come down to midpoint and chop around here. Now this chop over here, before we creep out the right side of the range, is what makes people sell their bag, right before we have that parabolic run. So right now we're just chopping mid-range here. Okay, we're just chopping mid-range here before we creep out the right side of the range into your sign of strength. So let's take a look at another layer that I have here. So this is the wave count, and what we see is a leading diagonal. So a 3-wave move within each of these waves for our wave 1. Then you come down for an A, B, C correction with an ending diagonal in your C wave. You see how the waves are overlapping here? And now we have a change of character. Okay, so this is your change of character. We popped up above it, and then we ended up forming a base. And we also have an inverted head and shoulders here too. So this is your left shoulder, this is your head, and then this is your right shoulder. Now remember, whenever you have a breakout of the neckline, sometimes the first break of that neckline doesn't tend to be the final breakout, right? So this over here could have been your fake out, and then you have what's called a partial decline, and then a continuation. Now we may not have this partial decline, but I just want to point that out there just in case you are actively trading this. So going forward, what bulls would want to see is a move above 0.5419 and 0.55 at the 70.2 to 78.6% fib, measured from this wave 1 high down to this expected wave 2 low, in order to confirm that in fact this is your wave 1, your subwave 1, and this is your subwave 2. So going forward, what we would want to do is look towards the crypto total altcoin market cap. And if you haven't seen that video, please go ahead and take a look at that. I hope you guys enjoyed the XRP video today. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And if you want to stay updated, like I said, click the link in the description below to join the PipSniper Patreon and Discord. Hope you guys have a beautiful day, and see you in the next one.